Hi there everyone, it's Julie from Scrap of Your Life. I'm in my studio this morning and I'm going to be making some more of these silicone embellishments. I've used two different types of silicone. One is like a clear and one is white. They're sort of like the no more gaps type stuff you use to fill up gaps and holes. So I've given them both a try and I've tried the white and the clear just to see if there was any difference between the two, if I like one over the other. I must admit I like the translucent clear. I love when it's painted with this Sparks paint, which is beautiful ocean colours that I've used. It really just makes it such a unique type look. So I've got some moulds here that I have previously used as well. There's some grasses, seaweed, seahorse, and some coral. My coral is one of my favourites that I've used because I've painted it in two different colours and it just looks really pretty. I didn't use this one on my layout though. I used another one which I painted green. So yeah, I'm just going to show you how I've made these embellishments now. But just for now, I've used them on this layout. The seaweed on this particular layout is the green one that I made the other day, and it's not quite the right colour for the layout, but I like the way it turned out. The next is the rock formation on this photo, which looks pretty cool. And the third one I made, you can just see there, sorry it's a little off camera, is the seahorse. The last layout I made, I didn't use an embellishment at all. You can see better photos of the layouts at the end of the video. So yeah, stay tuned and watch how I made them. So I'm starting off with this feather mould. It has a few different size feathers in it, and I'm going to fill it with the clear silicone. This is the one that dries a little bit faster, I believe, than the white, but that was my first attempt the other day, and maybe with a different temperature it might work out a little bit different. But I'm just going to fill the mould and start scraping. I'm just using an old card here and I'm going to scrape it across the top, trying to make it even as I go, trying to fill in all the little gaps and pushing down at the same time because I don't want any gaps at the bottom of the mould or air bubbles. So I'm pushing a little bit hard, just trying to get it nice and even. Looks like I need a little bit more in that last feather and just in that middle feather. So I'm just going to keep squeezing more out until I'm happy with the result. So I'll just get some more onto the mould, and I'm just going to use the card again and scrape until I'm happy with what I've got. So you can see you can buy these clear silicones from hardware stores. I think I got one from the Reject Shop and another one from Bunnings. So they're pretty easy to come by. I don't recommend any particular brand, but I might try a few other brands as I use what I have up. I don't want to go out and buy too much and not use it. So I'll use up what I have first. I've just done the comparison between the white and the clear to start with, and then I might work through some of the brands. So I'm just finishing off this mold here. I'm just trying to fill it up. It seems to squish down into that feather shape, and then I seem to have to keep adding a little bit more. But I think this should just be enough now. So I'm just going to finish scraping it off, and then I'm going to go on to the little seaweed or coral mold. So I'm going to start filling the coral mold now with some of the white silicone. It's a lot thicker. You really need to sort of like push hard to squeeze some of it out. So I'm just going to get as much out as I think I might need, and then grab my card and start pushing it into the gaps and trying to flatten it out so that it's completely filled. Now you don't worry if you get some of the silicone outside of the mold or on the sides or anything. It doesn't really matter. In fact, it does make it easier to peel out. So you can have a really thin layer across the whole top of that mold, and it gives you something a little bit to grab onto when you start to remove it. I found that out after the second attempt. Instead of trying to find an end and sort of squishing it a little bit, there I managed to get it out by keeping a little bit on the edge there. This dries out a lot faster than the clear, so you have to work relatively quick. It actually gets quite gluggy and thick, and the more I scrape, the more it seems to cling onto the card and sort of makes it very rough. So I think, considering it's really hot today, and I think it's drying out a lot quicker than maybe it normally would. Well, sorry about my head there. So I'm really happy with that. There's a little bit of excess left. There's not much I can do with that unless I use some in a smaller mold. Some of the other designs I have, they are quite small, so you can always use the excess on the card in another little mold. So I'm going to use the excess I do have in the bottom of this seaweed mold. This is actually the rock formation that I used on the layout, and I'm just going to, just going to fill it in. I think I will need more, so I do like this little rock formation on seaside and ocean themed scrapbooking layout, so I might as well make another one while I'm at it. I do tend to visit the beach and such quite a bit. I'll go on cruises and things like that, so all this sort of stuff is really good for those beachy themed layouts. I'm just going to keep working until it's all in there, and I'm happy with the way it looks like, and it seems to be quite even. I'm just going to set them aside to dry. Now, they might take about 24 hours. I would think that would be sufficient time. And as I said before, the white tended to dry a little bit slower than the clear. So I'm going to start slowly peeling away the silicone away from the mold. I'm just going to do it really gently. However, it does really come out quite easily. As long as you grab a little bit of an end where it's overlapped on the edge of the mold, it makes it really easy to just peel straight up. And you can see it's come out very detailed. It's really quite nice. I really like this particular mold. Next one I'm going to do is obviously the feathers. Just grab an end. See, I'm lifting up that really thin layer on the edge, and then I'm just going to peel it straight up. This particular one, you have to be a little bit more gentle. It seems to be just a bit more fragile, but I do like using the clear. It adds such a translucent look to the embellishment once it's painted. So the last one I'm going to peel up is just the rock formation. This was the white silicone that I've used in this, and again, it's really easy. It comes out really quickly. It's set a lot better than my first attempt. Some of the ones from the first attempt, they got a bit squished when I pulled them out. This one is really quite nice and dry. So what I'm going to do after I've got them all out of the molds, I'm just going to pull away some of that excess and use some scissors. I'm just going to trim away the rest. You can see there's some overhanging edges. So I'm just going to grab some paint now. And I'm using the Sparks paint again. I'm not going to use a gesso or any sort of undercoat or any sort of primer, because I do like the way the clear shows up with just the Sparks paint. It looks really shiny and very translucent, which is sort of what you want for an ocean type page. Just clear away my scraps and get my brush, and I'm just going to start with one of the colours. I've picked this really nice, really like a peachy colour, and for the coral I'm going to actually use two of the colours. So I'll start off with the peach colour. It's really quite more like a dusty pink colour. And this particular one is called Butterfly Spells. It's a really soft pink. I'm just going to use a little bit of water on the brush as well. That also helps move the paint around, and it gets into all the little nooks and crannies. So again, just a little bit the top coat, a little bit of a light coat, and then I'm just going to use the blue, which is Magical Pond Sparks paint. And I'm just going to go around the outside a little bit just to fill in some of the remaining white and blend it in with the pink a little bit, just so it makes it look a little bit more natural. Now, you don't have to use two colours. You can use any colour that you want. You could even use acrylic paints, I'm sure. So the next one, I've got a few spares from the mould. I might try and see what the acrylic paint looks like. But you can't really beat the Sparks paint for this type of project. This adds a really nice effect. So I'm going to start painting the feather now, and I'm going to use that really soft pink I've used in the coral. I'm just going to brush on a light layer. I want to keep a little bit of translucency to this feather, so I'm not going to make a really thick coat of paint on it. I'm just putting away some excess silicone. It's best to use scissors to do this. You don't want to damage your embellishment after you've waited 24 hours for it to dry. So just handle it with care. And if you do have some little bits that need to be trimmed, just use a really small pair of fine scissors. So that just about wraps up this video. I hope you got some inspiration and some ideas on how you can use the silicone and the moulds and just make some easy embellishments yourself. If you like the video, just hit the like button, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.